Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Marketing and Mindset. My name is Vanessa Cooper. I am a Pinterest marketing expert and content creator, and I am here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern with my Clubhouse bestie Connie and a guest speaker to share marketing and mindset tips with you guys to help you guys grow and thrive. And I'm so excited that you guys are here this morning. My guest speaker should be showing up soon. She is amazing, and she's going to talk to you guys about mental health and disability. And I'm so excited about her joining us this morning. I'm going to go check on her, Connie. If you can, I know your voice was bugging you, so let me know if you're able to. But if you can introduce yourself to the room, that would be great. I'm going to go check on our guest speaker, and I'm Vanessa, and I'm done talking.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Connie. I go by La Doc. I'm a Christian mindset stress coach. Please forgive my voice. I'm a little raspy, getting over a little bit of a cold, but I'm so excited to be with you today. Like Vanessa said, we do these rooms on Wednesdays where we talk about marketing and mindset. And mental health is super important, especially in the social media and the entrepreneurship world. And so today's guest is going to talk a little bit about mental health and disability. But myself, I talk about mindset, stress management. If you've been in a room with me in the past, you'll know that I say that stress is an emotional response to a situation. And because we're emotional beings, we respond with our emotions at all times. And so, keeping your emotions in line, knowing where they're coming from, how they're affecting your behavior and your actions are really important, not only to stress less, but to be able to live more and experience life the way it should be experienced. Along with that, I'm also the Instagram in house expert. So, if you have any questions on Instagram or any of those social media outlets, please feel free to ask your question. Housekeeping for today, we have our chat open. So if in our room chat you have any questions for our guest speakers or ourselves, please go ahead and do so. Just make sure you keep the chat focused on mental health disability or marketing and mindset. We don't need any postings of any offers or anything like that. The room is also for you. So if you have any questions and you really want to raise your hand and talk, go ahead and do so. We're here to provide you as much value as you need for whatever it is that you're trying to do in your endeavors. So thank you so much for being with us today. Let me see. Is Vanessa, are you back?
Yes, I am, Connie. Thank you so much. I was reaching out to our guest speaker. Still waiting to hear back from her. I know sometimes the time zones can get mixed up when it comes to scheduling these things. So I'm going to give her a few minutes to show up and talk to us. There she is. Oh, I'm so excited. Welcome, Kellina. We've already done some introductions, so I want you, Kellina, to go ahead and introduce yourself to us, and also let us know who you are and what you do, and just kind of a little bit of information about yourself. I'm Vanessa, and I'm done talking. Oh, and make sure to unmute your mic on the bottom right, because otherwise we cannot hear you whatsoever. So when you go to speak, go ahead and unmute your mic, which is on the bottom right of your screen. And then you can go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a little intro. I am done talking.
I just noticed on the chat she put be right back. So she may be having some technical issues on her phone.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Connie. I totally missed that. All right. Well, I'll give her some time to join. Meanwhile, I did want to talk to you guys about this topic, mental health, which Kellina is going to go over. And let me go ahead and make her moderator as well. Something that I think a lot of business owners need to talk more about, and we don't. So this is a topic that I'm very interested in, and it's a topic that I've always been interested in. Like, I was that nerd in high school that read books on psychology for like just for fun, because I'm just silly like that. But also, I've got ADHD, I've got anxiety, I've suffered with depression before, and it's a topic that I think in the past few years, it's become more prevalent. People have talked a lot more about it, especially since COVID. And so that's been, I think been eye opening to how important mental health is when we were all kind of in isolation for a while. So when it comes to mental health and business owners, it's something that I think can also, it has gotten pushed aside in the past, and people have gotten very stressed, very overwhelmed with their business and have neglected their mindset and their mental health. So it's a topic that I'm really I really enjoy talking about, and I think it's really important for all of us, and not just business owners, to be aware of and learn about. So I'm excited to hear about the topic. Connie, I know that you also, this is something that you obviously, it's part of what you do as a like Christian mindset coach. And it's not something that I specialize in by any means, because I'm just a Pinterest marketing expert, but it's something that I have to keep in mind, and when you're working with people too in your business, just on a daily basis, it's something that you have to be mindful of for them, because some people are just not okay. But yeah, so I don't know, Kalina, if you're available to speak now. I wanted to give you a second. If you are, you can go ahead and unmute your mic. And okay, awesome. Go ahead and unmute your mic. And if you're able to introduce yourself, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what you do. No talking.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Sorry about that. I was currently working from home today. Yeah, so hi everybody. My name is Kellina. I am a life coach, author, and international speaker. And I actually help people with disabilities, varieties of all disabilities. And yeah, and I'm excited to be here. And I serve people who are young adults. And yeah, and that's about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalina. So you are going to have the floor today. I'm so excited to have you here. When it comes to business owners with disabilities, you're the first person that I meet who's, just killing it and out there helping people, not just you having a disability on your own, but empowering other people, helping them, whether they're business owners or whether they're just trying to get through life. I want you to share with me what led you to do what you do. If you could just kind of share with us your story, a little bit of what led you to start your business in helping people. Vanessa, and I'm done talking.
Yes. So why I choose this path is because myself, who is a deaf person, I had no idea about what was my challenge I was gonna face growing up. Unfortunately, there was no one like myself in the professional field. And it was funny because I was in high school and I was looking for like a disability coach or a disability counselor, and I couldn't find anybody. Unfortunately, it was very sad because I felt like I was so isolated from the hearing world because I couldn't communicate and I couldn't find ways to communicate better with the hearing community, and so it was very unfortunate. And that's why I choose to be in my practice because I do want to empower other disability people that the other professional like them in the field, and I don't want them to feel alone as I did when I was growing up. And it was very difficult because there was not a lot of awareness as well, especially in schools. A lot of schools were not spreading awareness about the deaf community and the disability community. If you notice when you go to school, all the disabilities have a separate classroom versus the normal hearing people. And so it's not fair. Why are we being isolated from everybody else just because we have a disability? So that was thing that I really wanted to change. Like really show people that you can achieve anything what you want to do, even if you have a disability. It should not matter what you have, but you can still achieve the goal that you want. And yeah, I mean that's exactly why I choose this path.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? You're absolutely right. It is something that is so neglected to be talked about and to be made aware of. You're absolutely right. I remember going through school, and I honestly never had a friend or anyone that had a disability, because you were right. There was separation there. And not just that, but, as you grow and you take like career classes and stuff like that, you're not taught to how to work with anyone that might have a disability. And it is very neglected. It is a topic that's not talked about. So I think what you do is amazing. I think it's so great that you're helping to empower people, because I can't imagine that it can be lonely, especially when the world isn't necessarily talking about it like it's just normal, and so I think that's amazing that you do that. I wanted you to talk a little bit about, for anyone who's gonna listen to this episode in the future, or pop into this conversation later on, who is struggling with their own disability. Maybe somebody who's ambitious, somebody who wants to start their own business, but they're feeling insecure about it because of their disability. What is one good tip that you can give someone who's struggling with the whole mental health part of it all? I'm done talking.
I would say that the one tip I would give is always look out for mentor. And I think a lot of people are super nervous to invest in stuff because they feel like um they feel like they will not invest enough in themselves, and they are trying to find a mentor that can guide them correctly. And if you are looking for a mentor, please stick to a budget. I remember I spent over thousands of dollars of a mentor who's in UK, and it was no beneficial. So always look out for a mentor that will fit for you. And also too, don't be afraid of starting your own business. I know it's very scary because no one talked about starting a business, so always take that risk.
I love it. That's really good. And so when you talk about looking for a mentor, this is something that's new to me. Um, so for anyone that, it might be new to them as well. If they're searching for a mentor, what are some qualifications that you look for besides obviously being affordable? But what are some other like qualifications or things that you look for in someone, to mentor? Like if it's someone that does each person going to look for a specific characteristic that has to do with their personality? What is tips on searching for a good mentor? And do they need to find a mentor? If it's somebody with a disability, does it have to be a mentor that specifically worked with people with disability? I don't know if you understand what my question is, but I guess just what to look for in a mentor if they're searching for one. I'm done talking.
Oh yeah, I am totally understand Vanessa. For me personally, how I found my mentor was I would ask her if she do offer free 30-minute consultation call, and ask her question in terms of, is she the right fit from where I want to go? Or I asked her a bunch of personal questions in terms of her personality. Two, what type of work does she do? And three, what type of business does she have? It's always very important when you look for a mentor, always look for what can they offer to you and how can you benefit them. I would say that's super important. If you're looking for someone who have a disability, who is mentoring, always don't be afraid to not ask questions. And I feel like that's what a lot of time people don't ask the right question. Go online, look up how do I find a right mentor for myself, what type of questions. And always ask a lot of personal questions, because you're not just developing business partnership, but you're also developing personal relationship with your mentor, right? Does your mentor have a heart? Is your mentor understanding? Is your mentor have the same guideline where you're going in life? Do they have that? If they don't, then you need to find a different mentor. And not and yeah, I think that's all. And I'm done talking.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, great. So that's excellent advice, and I love that. It's something that it's funny that you gave that advice because I don't hear that advice a lot. Just when it comes to the different topics that we talk about, and that's literally just reaching out for help from someone, which is so important. And I think it's something that some people are scared to do in general. Is actually like literally just reach out and ask somebody to kind of help them out. So I love that. And Connie, I know your voice is kind of hoarse. But if for any reason you have a question to ask or add to the conversation, you're welcome to interrupt and ask it. But Kellina, I wanted to ask you, I guess another suggestion that you can give to somebody who is struggling with mental health. Maybe talk to me about one of the main mental health issues that people suffer, that you come across with your clients a lot. Mention what that issue is that you find a lot in your clients, and then what your advice is to them to kind of help them get through it. I'm done talking.
I would say the main thing is the truth. There's anxiety and depression. The reason why I said no to it because people can very easily be brainwashed in terms of the society, how they should live their life. I feel like a lot of the time the new norm is to get rich fast, and people feel like they need to do this and this, and they feel like they're behind in life because everybody else is doing that. Oh, because the social media did that. For a lot of time, people feel like they are behind, which is not true. Everybody time line is different from everybody else, and that's something I have to work a lot with the clients, is that you're not late in life. Everybody's lifestyle is super different, and I give them my example for my friends have children. I don't have kids, but does it mean I'm late in life? No, it means that it's not the right time for me to have children. I know I'm not ready. So I would say it's very important for people to understand that um it's okay to be behind a little bit in life, to figure out what you need to do and focus on your mental health. And I feel like people tend to be overreacting, especially like seeing other people just like think, hey, yeah, congratulations. Where some people feel bad of saying that because they feel like they're not there in their own path. So that's something that a lot of people, especially it's affecting their mental health. It's like depression comes along because they feel like they're behind in life where they should not feel that way. And yeah, and I'm done talking.
I love it. No, that's something that, once again, I don't think too much about how, people can compare each other. I'm not really one to compare. I just never have been, but I know people who do that, and they look at where other people are at in life, and they get insecure about that, because they haven't reached certain milestones that maybe other people have reached. So that's very interesting, that's definitely, something that you come across a lot. um, are there any suggestions that you give to your clients, in general, like any sort of daily activities or exercises? And when I mean exercises, I don't mean like physical fitness exercises, but activities or workbooks or journaling or any kind of daily activity that you recommend for people to do who are struggling with their mental health. I'm done talking.
Yeah, I give them so many things. It's really depend on the client, just not depend on me. I know some clients hate journaling. Or usually I do is give out worksheet. That is something very basic and brief. Something that it'll be fun. Or even coloring. I know a lot of people like to color to get their mind off. A lot of people don't think about coloring. I love coloring when I was young, and some people liked it, some people don't like it, and also too, I give them suggestion in terms of social media. How much are they feeding their brain? I feel like a lot of people forget about social media. How many times are they on their phone? How many times are they staying on the screen? I feel like that is more important because whatever you feed your brain, is it healthy? Is it negative? And the way how people interact with themselves in terms of the real world is how they will act because they're seeing things that is different versus if they were to journal, do worksheet, but I always maximize my client's screen time just to help them to understand where their mental health is going. Um, and that is definitely what I do. I do so many variety of things, workshop, journaling, and even just talking there and then with the client, and even act role play. I love doing role play therapy because that definitely helps the client to understand how they're reacting to certain things. But yeah, that's it. I'm done speaking.
So you find like that some of your clients aren't really sure where they're at mental health wise, like where, do you run into that a lot where people are unsure, like they think they're doing okay mentally, but then once you work with them they realize that they're not okay? Does that happen a lot, or do you just come across it from time to time?
It happened not a lot, but I know some other clients are very aware of the conscious. They're very aware, but I do come across with them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's very interesting. I guess I've always been pretty self-aware, but it's very interesting. And I know I've run into people, and it's more of a mindset thing, I think, in my end, more than a mental health, where they're struggling with their marketing. And it's really just their thinking that's affecting their growth, not so much their marketing strategy, that's holding them back. Because it's like no matter what I advise, it's just their mindset. So that's interesting. You run into that a lot. Are there any major, when it comes to your journey? in your business, were there any major resources or websites that you went to that really, really helped you? Like if you were ever in a funk, before you launched your business and were successful and everything, were you ever in a funk and there was a major resource or a website that really you highly recommend that had good resources for anybody that has a disability or is struggling with their mental health, and because of it that you could share with us? I'm done talking.
I would say that I resources. That's a good question. The resources I use, like especially if I'm looking for support for my personal stuff, I actually, because I finished college and my college offered like a bunch of worksheets for CBT, and I actually do a lot of the worksheet from college, and it actually helped me a lot. So I do a lot of worksheet myself personally with CBT, um, and what else do I use for resource? Also too, I find a lot of Facebook groups really helpful for myself too when I want to meet other deaf and hard of hearing or either disability people around me. That definitely helped a lot, especially networking with them. It's very cool. I think that's all for me. If I need support, that's where I would go for.
Okay, excellent. And when you say CBT, are you talking about like cognitive behavioral therapy?
Yeah, because I learned that in school, so I usually do the worksheet, and then I still have it to this day. So I just do it for fun, just really think about my knowledge and stuff.
Okay, excellent. Okay, I don't know if I've ever done like a worksheet, like a CBT worksheet. That's very interesting. And are these worksheets things that people can find online just anywhere?
Yeah, there is actually. They just found it's just because now that everything is online, everybody can find that now online. So yeah, so you can find online now.
I love it. That's really good advice. That's something that I didn't really think about doing. I think I've always just gone to like a counselor or a therapist if I was struggling with my mental health. But a lot of times that's what they'll do is they'll have you kind of work through a worksheet, or different activities like that for your mental health. So it's really interesting. You can just go up there and find them. And a group, I was thinking about that, like how different Facebook groups could be very supportive. I've used Facebook groups for different things for me, like especially when I was a new mom and I had no idea what I was doing when it came to breastfeeding. I found a Facebook group that absolutely helped me a lot. So that's excellent advice. For anyone who's struggling with their mental health or needs to speak with, people that they can relate to and can understand their struggles. Are there any specific Facebook groups that you recommend that you've been a part of?
No, there's no specific group. Just make sure that it's not too big or too big, like too many participation. I feel like when it's too many people, it gets overwhelmed. So definitely stick to a good number, maybe like less than 15,000 people in the group because that's more where you can get more advice and you can see a lot of things that's happening instead of too many posts all in one day. And I'm done speaking.
Okay, awesome. All right. So I wanted to ask you, um, if someone is listening to this episode, and they're interested in your services, who are the people that you help? Like, I know that you help people with disabilities as well, but what kind of issues would somebody be facing in their life or in their business that you would be the solution to their problem? What are the different struggles that you find your clients have that you can help them with? I'm done talking.
Yeah, so I help young adults from age 16 to 35. And the second thing is the solution that I give my client is I refocus on the positive psychology where I help my client to solve any problem that they're trying to face, right? What is the struggle they're trying to work on? What is the struggle that they're trying to do? What is it that they're trying to make out of it? So what I do is I focus on step by step, what can we do? I go through worksheet, I go through journaling, and we meet once a week, and it's one on one. We meet once a week. We look through everything day by day. I don't rush with my clients in terms of goal wise because everybody achieve goals differently. And what I do is the whole point of my session is really to get my clients to feel their own self again, especially their mental health. How can they learn how to manage their mental health on their own without having to rely on people around outside of them? So that's definitely my goal, and that's the solution that they would achieve. So yeah, and I'm done speaking.
That's excellent. Yeah, and it's so good to give people the tools that they need in order to sort of manage their mental health. I know one of the tools I learned, that helped me with my anxiety, and I don't know if you recommend this at all, but was deep breathing. So I get so anxious when I have anxiety that I get nauseous, like really sick to my stomach. And that's just how my anxiety expresses itself, and it has to be like a lot of anxiety. If I get a little anxiety, because I'm normally generally anxious, I'm okay. But that was like a kind of a big deal, because I would get so nauseous and just feel sick, and like, my heart would be pounding, and I would get so anxious. And so that's one of the tools I learned, which was deep breathing, that really helped me and get through that. What are so I think that's awesome, because once I kind of practiced deep breathing, and I practiced that technique for managing my own anxiety, it's helped me out so much. Like, now I'm like an expert at it. Like, I go straight to it, and I can literally make my stomach ache go away after deep breathing after some while. Like, it helps so much. So I wanted to ask, what are some of the biggest mental health problems that you run into a lot? Like, is it general anxiety more? Is it depression? Is it like severe insecurity? Or things like that? What's kind of the biggest one that you run into that your clients struggle with? I'm done talking.
I would say both. I would say it's balanced. I would say there's some anxiety, there's some depression. Um, Definitely both a lot, like both a lot. Yeah, and I'm done talking.
Okay. Okay. And so I wanted to ask another, if you could share just another tip for us that you give your clients a lot. I know you talked about using these like CBT worksheets, or even coloring to kind of help people with their mental health, which I think coloring is great. That's actually something I don't ever do, but I have like carpal tunnel in my hands, so like it hurts to sit there and color. But I've heard it's really relaxing, and a lot of people enjoy it. So that was really good advice. And then also reaching out to groups on Facebook and finding a mentor. What's something else, something big that somebody can do who's struggling with their mental health, or even struggling, specifically maybe even struggling with insecurities? What's another big major advice that you can give to someone who's, struggling and listening to this? I'm done talking.
I would say find the right support system in terms of your friends and family. Look around you. Look who can support you. What is it they're giving you versus the other person? I know a lot of my clients I come across had a hard time cutting people off. And that's the problem a lot of times for all of us, not just my clients, is that we don't realize that we need to cut certain people off because they're affecting our mental health. And a lot of my clients actually struggled cutting their close friend off because they didn't realize that their close friend was giving them that bad energy that they didn't need for their mental health. And so I want people to know that it's very important to look around who's feeding you correctly, who's not feeding you correctly. It's okay to cut people off for your own mental health. And the reason for that is because I always tell my clients, you only have one life to live. For example, if you had a dream and God told you you're going home tomorrow, what are you going to do? You're going to cut everybody off. But why not do that every single day? And for my clients to realize, like, oh my God, that is so true, Kellina. Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting to cut these people off? Why am I feeling sorry if I cut them off? No, you don't need to feel sorry to cut people off. And that's super important because your support system is supposed to be engaging you, supposed to support you, any support, any positive way. And I feel like that's also important, especially when you're trying to improve your mental health. You have to look at who around you, what family members that you should cut off. I understand it's very hard, but at the same time, your mental health comes first. There's some days where I had to cut a lot of friends off because they were giving me mixed signal and it was not a healthy friendship. And so I had to teach my clients it's okay to cut people off for your own mental health. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people do, especially my clients. It's okay to cut friends off for your own mental health. And I'm done speaking.
That was such good advice. Like that was such good advice, not just to find the right support system but to cut people off. I can speak, I think, for days on how important it is to remove toxic people from your life, whether it's friends or family. And as cruel as it is, it's totally okay to tell your family or your friends, I need some space because I'm not okay with your behavior or how it makes me feel or how you make me feel. That's such good advice to give to people because life is short and we only live once. And unfortunately, some people, whether it's their upbringing or their personalities, some people are hurtful and they can definitely affect you and your success and your mental health. I remember I went to a counselor one time because I was depressed. This was when I was in high school. Okay. And I'm talking to her, and all of a sudden, like after having a few sessions with her, she asked me about one of my friends. It was like my best friend at the time. And she pointed out to me that the root of my depression was because my best friend was being mean to me and technically putting me down all the time, but I didn't realize it. Like I totally was oblivious to this behavior of his. And so I cut him off. That was the first time I think in my life where I had to face somebody that I cared for and be like, you know what, you're not good for me. And I was totally a different person after that. So it's such a big, powerful move to make. I love that that's something that you suggest. How does someone know? So, like me, I didn't even realize it. How do you help someone sort of become aware to realize who in their circle might not be good for them? How do you help people come to that decision where they realize, okay, that person is making me feel some type of way if they're not too aware of it? Is there any kind of suggestions that you give on that? I'm done talking.
Oh my god, I love this question. So what I do with all my clients, I actually make my clients write a piece of paper. Grab a piece of paper, draw a big circle, put your name in the middle. Okay, put your name. For example, myself, Kellina. Draw a line. Who are you connected with? Okay, I could be like my mom, my dad, my sister, my friend, my best friend. Do, 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 do. Then I write down what is the positive thing on the left side, and then on the right side, I put the negative thing that they do. And then my client will take a look at that and they were like, oh my God. And they can visually see who is feeding them correctly, who is it feeding positively. And then if they have a marker, I put yellow and red. Draw the line. Where is it that is positive the most? Who's giving you the positive the most with the yellow color? Red color. Who's giving you negative? So that my client can visually see that. And that's how I help my clients to actually be aware and be cautious. Who is it impacting your mental health? And I'm done speaking.
I love that activity. That is such a good activity to be able to realize and make it visible. I love how you're making the toxic people in their lives become visible by physically separating them into groups and adding color to it to kind of make your mind realize and have that aha moment like, oh my gosh, this person is only giving me negative feedback all the time, or this person's making me feel bad. So I love that. That's really, really good advice. Connie, do you have any questions at all for Kalina before I start wrapping down the room?
No, I'm very thankful that she's here. Thank you so much for sharing all these tips and all this information. I wish I had a voice. I'd be a little more interactive, but thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you, Connie. I know your poor voice. But yeah, so Kalina, I pinned your website up top for the group. I wanted you to kind of go over what they'll find on their website, just kind of remind them about what you do and who you help, and if you could, how they can connect with you. I'm done talking.
Definitely. So, hi, everybody. So, my website is cleanempowerment.com. So, you're going to see my book. I do have my book on my website finally. And secondly, you can see my pricing. You can see my package that I offer. So, I do offer three packages the beginner, silver, and gold. So, different packages provide different tools. And yeah, and definitely reach out to me on my website, or you can reach out to me on Instagram, which is Def Queen Boss. Just make sure you put in the if you're gonna be sliding my DM, please put podcast or listener, so I know it that you're someone from the listener, so that way I don't get confused with all the other people. And yeah, and that's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kellina, for joining us today. You gave such great advice. I know someone's going to listen to this and learn a lot from it. I really appreciate you being here. I think what you do is amazing. I think your story is amazing. I think you're amazing. You definitely have had to face struggles that a lot of people don't have to face, and so I commend you for that. I think that that's amazing and inspirational in itself. So thank you so much for being here today. Again, I really appreciate it. Anyone who's listening, thank you so much for joining us. This is the Marketing and Mindset Room here on Clubhouse. You can find us on Apple Podcasts as well, and you can listen to all the previous episodes here in Clubhouse or at networknessie.com or on Apple Podcasts and catch up on all the good marketing and mindset tips. My name is Vanessa Cooper. I'm a Pinterest marketing expert and content creator. And I just want to thank you all so much for being here. Connie, I don't know if you wanted to say your goodbyes. I'm done talking.
I'm Connie. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Ladakh. If you want to stress less and live more, follow me here. Continue the conversation over on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to offer you any tools or resources to help you do that.
Thank you, Connie. And Kellina, if you wanted to say your goodbyes and then just one last general good advice that you can give us and anyone who's listening, I'm done talking.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody. I wish you all the best in life. And my last advice is remember, your words matter. Always keep going, never give up. And I'm done speaking.
Love it. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here today. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the room here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. You guys have an amazing rest of your day.